Great. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Strategies for Thriving with Sickle Cell Disease. We are delighted to have Dr. Charlie Ware, CEO of Healing Blends Global, to speak with us this evening. I want to thank those who have joined us for this session for taking the time out. I'm sure you're going to enjoy the evening. I want to just say for those who, this is their first time, that we appreciate you being here, and we encourage you to follow us on Facebook and on YouTube so you can be aware of the other activities that we will be having for Sickle Cell Awareness Month, September. All right, without further ado, I will hand over to Ms. Maurette Wright, co-founder and vice president of the Sickle Cell Support Foundation, for her to do the intro for Dr. Ware. Thank you.
Thank you, Camille. Good afternoon, everyone. It's really my pleasure to introduce our special guest who has been associated with our community from as far back as 2014. We met Dr. Ware personally when he came to Jamaica for our forum in 2014. And he has joined us subsequently, and here we are again. So before Dr. Ware starts, I'll tell you a little bit about him. So Dr. Ware is the expert you want by your side, a renowned natural medicine physician. His expertise spans acupuncture, herbology, functional medicine, epigenetics, and epigenomics. Hope I pronounced that well. Despite his extensive credentials, Dr. Ware often emphasizes that the true measure of his knowledge is in how it helps others. This perspective is deeply personal. Diagnosed with sickle cell beta thalassemia as a child, he faced a challenging prognosis. However, through natural treatments, he transformed his health and is now dedicated to helping others to do the same. Dr. Ware has built a career around empowering patients to achieve what once seemed impossible, combining his unfailing calm with a compassionate sense of humor. His approachable yet deeply knowledgeable style has made him one of the most respected figures in the world of all natural and alternative healing. He firmly believes that healing isn't just about treatments, but also about creating an atmosphere of trust and hope. And I quote, "Ask any of my patients, and they'll tell you that I take their health seriously. They trust me because I have the expertise to help them. But I also want them to feel at ease. When they come into my office, I want them to let go of fear and anxiety, knowing that we'll tackle the journey together. And yes, we'll have fun along the way. It may be challenging, but it doesn't have to be daunting." End of quote. Dr. Ware's mission is clear: to give people the hope and confidence that they too can reclaim their health and thrive. And it is our pleasure, it is our delight to have Dr. Ware with us this afternoon to share with us on our theme, Thriving with Sickle Cell Disease. So Dr. Ware, over to you.
Dr. Ware, I wanted to give you 1 minute. I had an oversight. I should have invited Lynette, our member, to say a few words in prayer to start the evening. So I will ask her to do so now, and then you will speak after. Thank you.
No worries.
Lynette?
Yes. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Let us
Good
pray.
evening, Lynette.
Good evening, Lynette. Thanks a lot for being with us and agreeing to begin our evening in prayer. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Let us pray.
Mhm.
Our Heavenly Father and our great King, we exalt you and give you thanks for your continuous blessing and your grace in our lives. This evening, Lord, we want to thank you for small mercies. And as we come together in this meeting to gain more knowledge for a better life and a healthier life, we pray for open hearts and open minds just to receive your plans and purposes. May we be sensitive to your leading and obedient to your will. We pray that you would open our eyes to see your hand at work in every aspect of this meeting. May your spirit guide us in making wise decisions and lead us towards the best outcome. We thank you for Dr. Charlie Ware, who has taken the time out this evening to share with us. Continue to bless him and bless his family. We thank you for everyone on this platform. Bless us all today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Amen. I love that. Thank you so much.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
You're welcome.
You know, anytime I'm able to be prayed over before a lecture is always a good thing. So I am not upset with that at all. So thank you once again, Sickle Cell Foundation of Jamaica. It's always a pleasure being able to speak to this crowd. I recall being there, as I say, in 2014, and the love and support that I found there was just amazing. So thank you once again for inviting me back. I'm hoping that I can add to any knowledge that anyone already has about this. I call it a crazy disease, and hopefully we'll be moving forward to some alleviation. So before I get going, am I co-host so I can share my screen, or I have a few slides, but not really. So it all depends on what you guys want. So I'll go ahead and continue to start as we move along. So as introduction said, natural pain management physician, epigenetics, epigenomics. What that basically means is in functional medicine, I'm able to look at anywhere from your genes all the way through every aspect of your body. The reason why I chose the natural route to do what I do is really because of the fact that I've seen the resounding benefits of starting things as natural as possible and then moving on to things that can be more serious. And if you look at the research with even pharmaceuticals, we'll find that over 470 plus drugs have been developed from natural sources. So why go towards the Western if you can stay with the natural and get some sort of benefit from it? So my job today and this evening is to teach you how to thrive with sickle cell disease, something that I've done for over 50 years myself, and something that I teach my patients for over the last 18 to 20 years with this condition as well. The thing that I want you guys to really realize is this right here. The latest research that we've been able to dig up with sickle cell disease as a whole diagnosis across the globe has increased over 30 to 45% globally. In some countries, it's actually even more than that, especially when you factor in the sickle cell trait and the different types of sickle cell thalassemias as well. So this disease has not been slowing down as we once wished and hoped it was going to. It's actually getting more rampant. I like to also call it an epidemic because it's a situation that we can easily, sort of tame down with the right treatments and also with the right testing as well. I still have patients that come into my office. I had a patient about a month ago come into my office with all the signs and symptoms of sickle cell disease. Yet his mom nor the patient were aware of the fact that he something that we've been developing at Healing Blends Global is rapid testing, using also a digital model to actually capture that data as well. So long story short, I had kits in my office and we were able to test this young man and he had sickle cell SC. So we quickly were going down that ramp where now he has sickle cell. Let's do the additional testing to confirm. And yes, he does have SC and AS. So it's a situation we know that once we are in and also aligned with the proper tool to treat this disease will not continue to grow. So, but my conversation with you today is one that's I'm gonna say very simple. Why I say it's simple, and forgive me when I say this. Yes, I do have sickle cell beta thalassemia, so I think I can see a few things when people get too upset with me. With all diseases and all conditions, we're looking at how to make sure that the disease is not controlling your body, but we're building up resiliency inside of your body. So the first thing that I do with my patients is something that's very simple. I try to keep a very calm demeanor because everyone and their mom comes in and thank you. I see the post. I'll share the presentation shortly. Um, but everyone comes in and everyone's looking for the fast solution, or everyone's trying to prevent a crisis from happening. And I said you can't do any of those things. The fastest solution is not out there right now. And preventing a crisis is something that you can't really do. And why do I say that? I believe in making someone resilient. That basically means that you can be in any environment and you're going to thrive in that environment. How do we do that? It's very simple. And I say it's very simple because of the fact that when I talk about these concepts, we all know these things. However, 99.9% of us don't do these simple things. So the first thing I always start with is not going to be any of the massive research things that I've taken part in or that's already out there. About now 4 years ago, I was part of a team that wrote a book it was called Dakota Longevity. So essentially, we researched for about 5 years of different things that will allow you to have a long life. On average, what were the blue zones doing? What's the best supplements? What's the best diet? And all these things. And my portion inside the book was really breaking down what we call bioactive nutrients. Bioactive nutrients it's what it says. It's like, the biology of different nutrients that has been shown to elicit the proper or the perfect, genetic code expression, should we say it like that. And when I looked at all the research, it was so simple. And it was kind of like scary to say it's just as simple. We found that the first medicines of man was what? It was herbs. It's even in the Bible as well. But it's more important to say that it was herbs. And not any particular herbs. It was just any herb out there. And more in particular, when we start looking at where a lot of these we say medicinal herbs are located, usually around lakes and rivers and oceans, things of that sort. They had more than nutrients. And individuals that actually had access to these herbs versus the ones who lived in the plains and ate mostly protein and starches, their brains did not grow as readily or as fast as the individuals that had, these herbs and also sea life as well. So their brains, and they actually grew more intelligent. So when we start to look at bioactive nutrients, we're looking at the basic things that we can do for ourselves to make ourselves heal. That's the first pillar to it. The second pillar is what can we do on a daily basis to control our health? What's the easiest and the most simple thing that we can do to make sure that our body is going to just simply thrive on a daily basis? I threw that question out there, so I want to see some answers down the bottom as well. I'm an interactive type presenter. I don't want to sit here for a half an hour and give you a bunch of information. So throw some comments down there. What do you guys think? What's the most thing you can do for yourself to make sure that you're going to be resilient on a daily basis? Let me see some answers real quick. I put my glasses back on. I'm an old man now. Come on, guys. Let's not be shy. And the reason why I want you guys to interact with me really is because of the fact that no, not plenty of water. The reason why I want you guys to interact, because I want you guys to think about what I'm saying versus what I can put on the screen and have you look at. I want you to think about the simple things that you can do, right? And so I've only got one answer. I'm going to give you the answer. Sleep. Sleep is the cheapest and the most efficient way for your body to do every function it's supposed to do. Let me tell you the reason why. The reason why sleep is so efficient is because when we find that it takes the brain, excuse me, about 4 to 6 hours every night when you're sleeping to actually detoxify itself. So imagine this. Imagine if you're one of those people who love to stay up late and you say, oh, 6 hours of sleep, 5 hours of sleep is great for me. It's not. You're lying to yourself because it takes anywhere from 4 to 6 hours just for your brain to detoxify itself. So I say this because of the fact that every nutrient that's in your body, every bit of stress that's in your body, your brain has to sort of squeeze itself out. Even the research shows that at night, your brain actually gets smaller. And it gets smaller because it's actually squeezing all of the juices, all other things out to actually help your body detoxify itself more efficiently. So another part of the research that we've seen was individuals that slept between 6 and 8 hours a night. They were walking around as if they had, let's say, 5 to 6 beers. It's equivalent to you actually drinking, a half a six pack or a 6 pack of beer every day. The other thing is individuals that slept between 4 to 6 hours a night, you were as if you're walking around drinking an entire case or a 12 pack of actual beer, should I say. So saying that is as if you walk around drunk every day. So you're not thinking properly. Your body is not really trying to make sure you're going to thrive. It's just surviving, thus causing a lot of inflammation throughout the entire body. This is what the research shows us, guys. So the easiest and the cheapest things for you to do for yourself is actually sleep and have a beautiful sleep. The most individuals think that, oh, the keystone to proper health or proper sleep is 8 hours. That's actually a fallacy. Most adults need anywhere between 8 and 10 hours sleep per night. Most teenagers need anywhere between 10 and 12 hours of sleep a night. And we know babies can sleep, all night long once they're trained to do so. But the proper research shows that you should be sleeping about 10 hours a night. This 8 hours of sleep was really a mechanism for working. Okay, you're able to get up, you work, you go home and sleep 8 hours. You should be fine. But the research shows it's about 10 hours that you should be having every night. And the reason why this is so important is because you have to allow the body to rest, recover, and actually rebuild a lot of those amino acids and those nutrients that your body naturally produces. Do you know that your body produces almost every substance that you're supposed to have once you give the proper nutrition to it, as well as you have the proper amount of sleep to go along with that? Right. So that's the cheapest and easiest way for you to get back to health is to sleep. And I was also one that I put inside of here and say exercise. Exercise is so important. It really, really is. Moving your body is so important. Notice I said moving your body over exercise. So you found with research that when it comes to longevity, exercise only played about 5% into you having a higher chance of achieving longevity or even having better health, only 5%. What was the most important factor beyond sleep? It was nutrition. It is nutrition. Okay. Whatever you put inside your mouth is going to do one or two things. It is going to either create a healing phase or it's going to create an inflammatory phase. That's the only two things it's going to do. All right. Someone's saying, well, if you suffer from insomnia, there are plenty of ways for you to actually get over insomnia. Insomnia, and again, I can look at your genetic code and sort of figure out the best sleep times for you. I can figure out, if you're a high anxiety person, just looking at your genetic code. And insomnia is 90% of the time, insomnia is a habitual thing that we create within ourselves. We've gotten used to sleeping a certain way. We've gotten used to a certain routine, and we stay in that routine. You got to break that routine. So insomnia usually it'll take about anywhere from 42 to 50 days to break that insomnia habitual thing. They say 21 days, but 21 days is just the beginning of it. You have to reformulate new habits as well. So you can be very, very careful when you say, oh, I have an insomnia. Stop looking at diagnosis, looking at solutions. You're looking for solutions now, and taking melatonin is not one of them. Most individuals overtake melatonin. We overtake melatonin is going to work the opposite way. It's actually going to make you more insomnia, have more insomnia. But you naturally produce melatonin inside of your brain. Another reason why it's so important for you to get enough sleep. But there's three components that you actually need to actually ingest on a daily basis for your body to naturally produce melatonin. The first thing is zinc. You need to have enough zinc in your body. The next one is folate acid is the other thing. And for your body to naturally produce enough folic acid, I'm sorry, enough melatonin, you also need ubiquitol. So all these are great things that are neurotransmitters and also enzymes that your body would naturally have if you have the proper diet, and your body would naturally come down. Another thing that we lack in our reasoning is understanding sunlight, making sure that we're getting enough sunlight on our skin, and not being in false lights. It is kind of dim in my house at all times. I have certain types of lights inside my house. I don't like to have the bright lights because, again, it fools our body to say it is sunny or is it time for us to go to sleep. I have my lights on a timer where they start to naturally dim down as if it's time for us to go to bed. And usually around 8:30, 9 o'clock, we're getting ready to go to bed because we like to have our sleep. And then I want you to think about this, women in pregnancy and things of that sort. We in the labor and delivery room, the lights are not big and glaring, they're low. Everyone's talking soft. Everyone's sort of, having you nice and relaxed, right? It's the same concept when it's time for you to go to bed. The more you're relaxed to go to sleep, the faster your body's going to start to heal and recover itself. So just one tip. So let me show you guys if I can get to it and get back to you guys. I have too many things on my computer. Or actually, it's not even my computer. It's one reason why I'm having issues right now. Let me share my screen really quick. Share this one. All right. So the key components of eating well for sickle cell disease, right? So essentially, the reason why I created this particular outline of eating, and I'm staying in the eating phase a little bit more, is because culturally we're addicted to food, meaning like is when within our culture to eat certain things, right? Jamaicans, Cubans, is everyone has their special way of eating certain things. Americans have the worst diet ever, so I'm just let you know, so but not me, just joking, but is a way of eating. However, a lot of times we have to realize that some of the cultural things that we're eating or the way we're preparing our foods could also be leading to some of the health issues that's going on. When it comes to sickle cell disease, we are trying to make sure that we're not allowing the body to be as toxic or as inflamed or as stressful as it can be. Now, when I talk about stress, I'm not talking about the emotional stress. I'm talking about the oxidative stress, the stress that's inside the cell that's not allowing enough nutrients inside of the cell and not allowing enough of the toxins outside of the cell, creating oxidative stress. That means that the cells are breaking down a lot faster inside the body. And that's going to create what? Higher risk of crisis, higher risk of bilirubin, higher risk of having all of your liver enzymes, your kidney enzymes, all these things are going to be all out of whack, and the body will still try to survive versus trying to thrive. But again, back to the whole bioactive nutrient situation, giving the body enough, or as I say, bombarding the body with as many phytonutrients or as many bioactive nutrients as possible is the only way that our body is going to have enough to make sure that the genome itself, what the actual DNA sits inside, have enough nutrients to have the proper expression of the gene. Listen, guys, the most simple things like this. The body does not want to be in pain. The body does not want to die early. It wants to thrive. So the only way it is going to have a crisis or cause inflammation or have some sort of issue if it's not being given the right substance. Yes, a lot of medications are phenomenal and can do great things, but even those medications can strip away certain nutrients that our body needs in order for it to function efficiently. So you can have someone that can come to our office and they can have a hemoglobin level of a 10. And like, oh, wow, that's phenomenal. It's like, yeah, but I feel horrible. I don't have any energy and things of that sort. And then we start looking at that labs. We say, hey, listen, things are off whack. We're focusing on one number, but everything else is also off whack. They get some of these numbers back in line with giving you more nutrients and a better diet and a better regimen and see what's going to happen from there. And the easiest way for this to happen is going to be your nutrition. So let's go over this a little bit. So my 4 pillars of the proper nutrition is, again, is a nutrient-based foods. Basically means eating real food. Let's just make it simple. Let's just eat real food. The other thing is making sure that the food that you're eating is high in trace minerals and vitamin awareness, and also proper fat ingestion. And this is one that a lot of times we completely forget about. Having healthy fats in our diet is so key. The reason why, and I go back a little bit to the trace minerals, the other thing that we really forget is every mineral that's in our body is stored in as a salt. Thus, we need salt. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, I don't take salt. Salt is bad for you." No, salt is not bad for you. The table salt, the barium and the radium chloride salt that is called table salt is bad for you. You need something that is like, completely from the sea. Fresh sea salt, Himalayan sea salt. I like Celtic sea salt or Hawaiian sea salt. So these are coming from the volcanoes in Hawaii, or it's coming from different areas of the land, either in Africa, things of that sort. Yes, I spend a lot of money on salt because the salt I usually try to ingest has anywhere from 100 up to 140 different trace minerals inside of it. So every time I have in just a quarter of a teaspoon, I'm sorry, that's a lot, a pinch of salt, on my food, a little pinch of salt, I'm getting trace minerals. I'm looking at how many nutrients I can get in my body on a daily basis. And the last part of that is also hydration. So I'm gonna go back once again, but the healthy fats is another component. We will look at a lot of the sea oils. The sea oils, we're talking about the canola oils, the rapeseed oil, the safflower oil, the sunflower oil, the corn oil, the soy oils, all of those actually create oxidative stress in our body. It actually is very, very high in linoleic acid and also omega-6s, which causes inflammation inside the body. This is why we want to stick with the coconut, palm, and also olive oil. And those are the best ones to cook, but you can ingest the avocado oils and walnut oils, things of that sort. You can ingest or use it for a salad, but we want to stick with ones that are going to be really, really good for us as well. Um, and again, the reason why it's important for us to eat healthy, because again, back in the 1940s, in the 40s, this is like 80 plus years ago, they actually saw that a person actually needs about 100 different nutrients in their system on a daily basis. 8 to 12 essential amino acids, 3 essential fatty acids, 16 vitamins, and over 70 minerals, right? Now, can any of us actually say that we were looking at things from that basis? No, most people are looking at what? The caloric intake and yada yada yada. No, I don't care much. Protein, whatever. I'm caring about how many nutrients am I getting in my body in a micro level and a macro level as well. All right. And essentially, what they also showed was when you get an adequate diet, these things are more potent than even getting immunization. I'm not saying don't get immunization, but it keeps the body as healthy as possible, right? It's going to make sure you're resilient, and this is what we were focusing on today, right? And upon it is minerals are essential and make up 2/3 of all nutrients we need. Unfortunately, it's no longer possible to get enough of this through our food. And why is that? Because of overfarming or the fact that we're not having enough nutrient-dense food. We're looking at the fastest, quickest thing that we can have. Or the other thing is we tend to eat the same things over and over again versus having a variety of fruits and veggies and grains and also meats inside of our body on a daily basis. We don't want to actually just continue to eat the same things and thinking that it's going to make us healthy. We have to have a variety, eat seasonally and things of that sort. So in the late 1980s, undernutrition has been identified as a critical factor for sickle cell disease. So in the 80s, they found out that very, very simple. Most sickle cell patients were malnutrited. Plain and simple, right? And there's several reasons why this is actually happening. I'll tell you the reason why. One thing that I discovered probably maybe 10 plus years ago, we would start looking at the metabolism of the average individual. We would say that person is a person A. Now, the sickle cell person, we're noticing that, like, wait a minute, the sickle cell individual, they're producing, a higher rate of cells. Why? Because their cells are dying off faster. However, this person's not dying off, whatever. So they calculated and found out that the average sickle cell has a metabolism rate 1.25 times faster than the average person because we're producing cells a lot faster and they're dying. We having to have our body detoxify faster and all these other things. What does this really mean? The more nutrients you have in your system, the better your body is going to produce the proper types of cells, the proper shaped cells, to not allow the bone marrow to overwork itself as much and things of that sort. But we were finding that with individuals with sickle cell disease, they are malnutrient because they don't have that knowledge base to understand food is the easiest way for them to be healthier. Food is the easiest way. The more nutrients you give them, the better the building blocks for their amino acids and also the other nutrients are going to work as well. So that's why this is actually sort of kind of fascinating. And this just goes back into the inflammatory cells, and I'm not going to get into all that because it's a little bit science based, but it's basically what I just said. We're finding the C-reactive protein in most sickle cell patients, we're able to get that back in line and actually reducing something called interleukin-6, which is an inflammatory marker, back in alignment by increasing the protein rates. Because I know a lot of individuals they think that being vegan is the best thing for sickle cell disease. It really isn't. Again, being a geneticist, epigeneticist, I'm able to look at everyone's diet. Like with me, being vegan was optimal for me according to my genes. But I found some individuals that they had to have 60 to 70% of their daily intake of nutrients to be protein. And then like 30% would be healthy fats and things of that sort. So everyone's different. So one diet doesn't fit for everyone. You gotta find out what really fits in there for you, but it has to be real food. That's the basis of it, right? So the key nutrients, again, is going to be the essential fatty acids. I love fish oil. I love hemp oil. Hemp oil for me is one of those things that I love it because hemp oils actually have epithelial growth factors inside of it. What does that basically mean? It helps to grow skin and organelle tissue or regrow it faster. So it helps with the inflammation, but also it helps with the repair. If I go to a cold area, I always have some of that and I rub it on my lips because your lips get dry and chapped and things of that sort. Black seed oil or cumin oil, black seed cumin oil. Again, phenomenal, phenomenal, phenomenal. Zinc is important. Why is zinc so important? Zinc is important. I just told you about the melatonin production helps in that, but zinc is actually in charge of over 200 plus enzymatic processes inside the body. Same thing with magnesium. Actually, magnesium is actually in charge of over 400 different enzymatic processes. But with zinc, another great thing of it is phenomenal for the thymus. The thymus is located right behind your sternum. And the beautiful thing with zinc, it actually helps to regulate something inside the thymus called the thiamine. The thiamine is in charge of finding the infections inside of the body, right? So the thiamine, if you're just like 5 to 10% deficient in zinc, the body cannot locate the actual infection. The thiamine is the chemical that goes out and actually marks the different viruses and infections inside the body, and then the killer T cells come in and find it and kill it off. But this is the reason why zinc is so important. Is one of those trace minerals that's needed to actually help things function, a lot better. It's one reason why, I produce it when I start seeing this research. And another phenomenal aspect of this is they've been doing research with zinc and sickle cell disease since the 50s. There have been several studies, and actually about 10 years ago, there was another study that was done with individuals that had acute chest syndrome. And the only thing that they changed that those individuals' diets was actually giving them a higher dose, or just giving them zinc. So the control had zinc, the test group didn't have zinc. Sorry, the test group had zinc, the control didn't have zinc. Sorry, I said it backwards. And they found that in the course of 1 year, individuals that historically would have at least 1 or 2 chest syndromes, chest crisis per year, had none. And then the follow-up study, the course of 2 years or plus, they still, as long as they were on zinc, they didn't have any chest crisis. That's why most of my individuals, I could almost say 99.9% of individuals that are on the regimen that I put them on, they don't experience chest crisis, and their rate of infection as well as crisis goes down by 90 to 95% easily. Vitamin C, again, is the best antioxidant out there, so definitely get that. B vitamins are so important. B vitamins are important for brain function, organelle function, just for everything. So we make sure you have your B vitamins. Folate acid, not folic acid. Folic acid is the synthetic form of it. And folate acid is a natural form of it that's found in, again, your leafy greens, oysters, seafood, and things of that sort. So you can get folate everywhere. There's also a B vitamin too. And also the plant-based nutrients. So there's a lot of different types of plant-based nutrients, that are just phenomenal. So we call them phytonutrients. Again, why is fat so important? Fat is important because that's what sort of brings down the inflammation inside the body. Is energy pack, is the way our body stores energy, and when you need it, it'll just sort of activate itself, and you have extra energy. It actually allows the cells to be shaped beautifully. It's one of the many building blocks of life as well. Again, it helps with hormones, producing cells properly. That's one reason why women have a higher fat ratio than men. I think women are around 11 to 17%. Men could be around 6 to 11% and still have good functions of their hormones. Women have a higher amount because you need that extra fat to help produce hormones as well. So that's why it's so important. The proper fats, fats that have a high percentage of saturated fatty acids, that are stable. So that's your coconut oils, your avocado oils, and things of that sort. Again, everyone says, butter is bad and things there. So as long as it's organic and grass fed, butter is not bad unless you have a lactose intolerance. And unfortunately, 86% of individuals with African descent do have an intolerance to cow's milk. Now, goat's cheese and goat's milk and goat butter, you can definitely have that. And also same thing with sheep, but not cow though. So just be careful with that. And plant-based sources, just be careful of the fake meats. I don't do fake meats. I don't like fake meats. I think fake meats are the devil. They're just horrible and bad for you anyway. So don't do them at all. I command you not to do that. But just again, eat real food. And some of the plant sources for fats are going to be just your raw seeds and nuts and things of that sort of coconut, just eating avocados and things of that sort is going to be very, very good for you. I mean, honestly, like walnuts are phenomenal for the brain. It has several enzymes in there, just phenomenal for the brain. So anyone that has that risk of stroke, I say, hey, eat a handful of walnuts a day, and you'll see the difference. There's a lot of research behind that. Same thing with coconut oil. There's a lot of research behind individuals with Alzheimer's disease, with dementia, just eating avocado on a daily basis, and also coconut oil, it actually reduced that rate of Alzheimer's and also dementia. So imagine what it would do for individuals that have a risk. So say grass-fed butter, clarified ghee, coconut oil, palm oil, avocado oil, cold pressed plant oils. When I say plant oils, again, I'm not talking about the corn oils and things like that. So I'm not saying those seed oils. And virgin, extra virgin olive oil. Yes, hydration is very, very key. But this is what I'm talking about, hydration. Hydration is not just water. I'm taking a sip of my drink. Hydration is not just drinking water. Hydration is water or liquid that have nutrients in it. So I'm a big proponent of having individuals put electrolytes back inside their water. I'm a big proponent of individuals that use lemon, lime, use turmeric, ginger, sage, rosemary, whatever you can inside of their water as like a flavor. And the reason why, because it helps put phytonutrients. You can even put a quarter pinch of salt inside there. Again, Celtic sea salt, a real good salt to allow those extra electrolytes. Because again, remember, you guys have these beautiful rivers and streams there. If they're clean, you drink out of it because all this water is running over the rock. The rock is actually having sediments, means like it's releasing different nutrients. Most bottled water, 99.9% of it is so filtered, there's nothing inside of it. They put some water softener inside of it, but there's no nutrients inside of it. And all the sports drinks are just too sugary. Is high in different preservatives and things of that sort. So you just want to make sure that you're eating, I mean, you're having water that have nutrients inside of it. That's the proper hydration. And the whole 6 to 12 ounces, 6 to 12 glasses of 8 ounces of water, it's always a measurement. It's always how you're doing. Most individuals that say that they can't drink a lot of water by themselves, that means you have some sort of stomach issue. You're probably producing too much mucus inside of your gut, so your body's not absorbing enough of that, or you're not putting any nutrients inside of it, that trace mineral inside of there to allow the body to have those nutrients. Because a lot of times you're thirsty, and you're thirsty because of the fact that you don't have nutrients, not because you need the H2O. The H2O is just one component that you need. You need the nutrients inside of it as well. And of course, people always ask me, well, eating healthy is costly. I was able to break certain things down and show how eating healthy, is not that expensive. As I always say, there's a place here called Whole Foods. Is very expensive. So I say eat whole food, not at Whole Foods, because it's very, very expensive. Buy things in bulk, eat actual fruit, buy things in our sale, buy things that are seasonal, buy things in bulk, as well. Learn how to make soups. Just this past week, we were a real big soup family. Like, we'll on Sunday nights make like a turkey soup or a chicken soup or something like that, for the kids' lunch for the entire week. Make a big pot of it, freeze it, and then throw it out, put it in their containers, and they'll have that with some fruit and things of that sort. That's like a typical lunch for our kids. So you can do the same thing. Soup goes a long way, right? You may get tired of eating soup, throw some rice with it, throw some beans inside there, just jazz it up. But soup goes a long way. So it's not going to be that expensive as well once you start to learn how to eat properly. Cut out the sugary snacks. I think we lose our palate because we like sugar and we like salt. So those are the two things. But again, remember that in order for the liver to really detoxify itself, it actually needs sour. So that's one reason why I say put a lot of lemon inside your water. It needs things that are sour. So that's why you chew on some parsley, or you chew on some cilantro, or you put the Scotch bonnet inside of the food. While you're putting Scotch bonnet inside the food, that's actually a blood mover. But it's also, if you taste it, it's kind of sweet, but it has a little bit of bitter, sour taste if you can get past the heat, right? And that's also good for the liver as well. So these nutrients all have a function inside of the body. So this is why I put together this whole aspect, so you can actually look at it and say eating well is not just something for the rich or something for individuals that have time for it. You learn to do it well, you plan for it, you can do it pretty easily. I love juicing. If you have time to juice, great. If you don't like to clean up, don't juice. I'm not a fan of smoothies. I'm not a fan of smoothies. So if you guys are doing smoothies down there, stop it. Because you basically are just eating still just straight sugar, because you're such a fusion, all the sugars away from the fibers, and you're really only having again a sugary drink that's just flavored with something. So make sure that you're juicing after you can drink something. So a big thing that quite sure is everywhere now, where we're looking at different ways to improve our grain intake, or we have a gluten intolerance and things of that sort. For me, what I did was listed right here. We have the millet with the buckwheat, the lima beans, greens, cabbage, cashews, cauliflower, chickpea, plantains, sorghum, African yam, and cassava. These all contain phthalocyanate, which has been shown to be an anti-sickling agent. So imagine eating these on a daily basis in many different ways, right? So this one reason why I'm a big millet fan. I usually eat buckwheat, millet, grits, or something like that as my base for my breakfast. And I saute is going to be cabbage, it's going to be carrots, it's going to be at the very least, I have at least 12 different veggies for my breakfast every day. and because of the fact that I know I'm getting the nutrients I need. And yes, I always have some sort of yam inside there as well. So yes, I'm having anti-cycling agents on a daily basis with each meal I eat. Think about that. You're eating your way back to health, reducing your risk of having a crisis, reducing your risk of having your tick counts and all these counts go crazy just by eating. So this the easiest way for you to thrive is just by eating well. And a lot of these things, are not that expensive. You can buy them in bulk and you can make a soup, or a stew out of them. I love making stews because again, it stretches further and it's got to heat things up and it's easy to eat on a go as well. Right. So that's what's important for me. Making sure it's cheap, making sure that we can have it fast. So average cost of eating healthy day was around $7.48. A little or organic diet. So most things for me, I eat organic, but most of the things were not. The average cost of eating out was about $15.30 per day. So you're cut your bill in half just by eating at home, cooking at home. It's healthier for you versus eating out. You're doubling the amount of money. So that's kind of cool to even see that, right? The cost of living. So these different places that actually have done some of these studies for me, for us, not just me. So in summary, so better health depends on healthy and well-balanced diet. The research also points to you can do this well, being an STD patient. Take charge and empower yourself. That's the biggest thing for me is make sure that you're going to be empowered. Form a support team. We actually have the Village Voice that we created at Healing Blends that you can actually sign up, be a member of, and things there. So every month we meet. It's another membership thing you need to buy into that we have. It's a roundtable. So every month we meet, and I go over everyone's chart and we talk about sickle cell. We talk about how they've improved their health. Every month we have right now about maybe 20 people that I meet with, every month, and it'll take about an hour and a half. It's that quick to have 20 people, in a chat room, and we go over, their stuff. But everyone's health has dramatically improved as we start forming that, because again, is a accountability. It's not a support group where we're just there talking or trying to find a salute. It's about, hey, it's a personalized thing. And then when you hear someone else who has the same issue, as far as like, like trying to meal prep or trying to find time to de-stress themselves, and everyone's giving up different solutions, is a great way to actually be there. So if you guys want to join that, you can, DM me for that information as well. And the best way for me is this right here, guys. This is I guess my takeaway. Never stop caring for yourself and seeking education to excel your health. You're the only one who's here to save you. You're the only one who's going to save yourself. So the best advice from me, to be honest with you, is for you to empower yourself as best as you can, so you can be the best that you can be for yourself, more importantly for your community. Because when one other individual with sickle cell disease see that you're doing phenomenal, they're going to look for you to be their benchmark and also join. I'm like I said, I'm over 50 years old. I've never been in a hospital. If you actually see me from the waist down, you see that I actually have baseball clothes on. So I forgot I had a baseball practice. I had to rush home and throw my nice shirt on really quick. But I've fought mixed martial arts professionally. I fought 5 professional fights. I played AAA baseball. I traveled the world. We actually have a house dedicated to sickle cell disease and Uganda, have things going on in Nigeria. This is not me toot my horn, but I have sickle cell beta thalassemia. Wasn't supposed to live past 30, 40, whatever it is. And by the grace of God, I'm still here. I'm still thriving. How is it that I'm doing this? By what I just showed you guys. By maintaining my stress levels, understanding my stress levels, making sure I get sleep, and also making sure I'm eating well. And the other thing, yes, I do exercise, but my workouts, essentially, I'm just running around with the kids playing baseball. I park on the 4th floor of my garage at work, and I run down the stairs. I don't go to the gym. I hate going to the gym, but it's the simple things we can do to make sure that we continue to thrive and be the best that we can be. So I thank you. It's my little bio, my little smiley face or whatever. So thank you so much for having me. I'll take a few questions and then we'll go on from there. Thank you so much, guys. No one said I can leave. See you
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you so much, Dr. Ware. Can you guys hear me? You guys can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great presentation. I really appreciated it. I
Did
was
I
gonna
talk slow
say,
enough for you? Did I talk slow enough? Because it was a big.
I know sometimes I always say to you, speak a bit fast, but I think that you spoke at a good pace, and
I'm joking.
everyone should have heard you quite well. Um, I was going to ask you in terms of protein,
Mhm.
um, if you could speak just a bit more about the types of protein you recommend, apart from chicken or turkey. Do you recommend things like quinoa, etc.? Could you speak a bit more about protein and fats, in terms of for average diet for persons to have?
Yeah, I had to slide up that for the fats, the types of fats I think that everyone should have. You know,
So apart from, and what I really meant is like, okay, cooking with coconut oil or cooking with
mhm.
palm oil, you had recommended that, but
Yes.
would that be adequate, or is it that we need to have other sources?
Yeah. So that's part of the way adequate, but also recall I said to have nuts. You have nuts. You can have the walnuts, the Brazilian nuts, the macadamia nuts, of course, cashews and almonds. But again, even avocados, eating a whole coconut is also good for you too. So those are some of the fats you can have, and like I said, having the grass-fed butters or the sheep butters or the goat butters and things of that sort. In terms of proteins, I'm a fan of most proteins, even though like I said, I've been vegan over here for over 30 plus years, but I tell patients all the time, you just eat, lean or as organic as possible. And I prefer wild game. I'm from the country where I used to go hunting all the time. So we used to, hunt rabbit, pheasant, quail, deer and stuff like that. So I grew up with stuff like that. I grew up on a farm, so we, raise our own chickens and also pork, even though I stopped eating pork when I was like 10 or 12 years old. So it's really just the quality of the meat itself. I tell people honestly, realistically, and seafood is the best you can also have is the highest in the fat content and also lowers in the risk of cholesterol. So I say seafood is my top one. And then I'll say if you get some sort of wild game, go there. And if you're gonna have to have any sort of other types of protein, I'll go with maybe a goat. Even though goat is not that fatty, I like goat because it's anti-inflammatory, hyperallergenic. Most individuals are not allergic to goat. And then go to a veal. I'm not a big fan of chicken. I think chicken is one of those animals that's been too domesticated and is kind of bad for you. And to be all honest.
Well, you know that Dr. Ware, chicken is like Jamaica's national dish. Fried chicken in particular.
I know,
Jamaicans
I know,
are
I know.
continuously having fried chicken. And I've always said to people, it's better if you could prepare like maybe chicken cooked up with some vegetables in a more like a sauteing manner, not to
But
put it down in the
stew,
oil and fry it to death.
yeah, a stew, bacon, the things of that sort. I mean, even grilling it. And if
Or
you're
or
feeding,
even curry chicken. Curry chicken is very popular
yeah,
in Jamaica as well. And
definitely.
curry is good for you, right?
It's phenomenal, definitely, definitely. In fact, actually, the curry leaves itself was shown to have anti-cycling effects as well. So it's very good.
Okay, interesting. Okay, great. Well, I was going to say a few words about my experience with even flow, but I wanted to open the floor to some more questions for your presentation, and then I would speak after.
Okay.
Does I know that Mishka had put on a question about insomnia. So I was wondering, could you speak a bit more about insomnia?
Yeah.
Because it is for me, well, for me, I actually had a period of insomnia when
Hmm.
my brother and my only sibling was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. I think I may have even told you about that when you came to Jamaica.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
did.
when I picked you up at the airport, I mean at the hotel, I think I was telling you that I
Hmm.
just couldn't believe it, that I was born with sickle cell. And then my brother was born AA.
Hmm.
He didn't have even a trait. And then suddenly, out of the blue at age
Yeah.
23, he starts having these symptoms and is diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease. So I was so depressed, that I was like, I had insomnia for a period of time, but I got treated for depression and eventually I returned to normal sleep. But I think that it's a big issue with sickle cell. And I think part of it is also related to pain. So, like if you're having hip necrosis and you're having hip pain, or you're having leg ulcers and you're having pain in the ankle, or, I think that's part of it. But I would like you to speak a bit more about how do you address the sleeping. Thank you.
Yeah. It'll, again, go back to being nutrient deficient. I think I said earlier about the fact that zinc itself can actually help produce melatonin naturally in our bodies. So being able to make sure that we go back and see what we're taking, see what we're doing. And apart from that, yes, I know pain insomnia is what we call it here, where you're in pain, so you're going to stay up all night, you really can't sleep. But also a lot of that comes with anxiety, and also habitually doing certain things at night. I know for a lot of individuals, that's when I tell them you have to form different habits. Go to bed a little bit early, even if you're just lying there, go there and go up, stay up a little bit later, so you can make sure that you're actually are allowing your body to naturally come down and actually rest as well. If you're in pain, let's figure out solutions while you're still in pain. It is different ways to maneuver around the whole pain somnolence situation. But more importantly, I'll say make sure that you're increasing the different nutrients you're having. And if you can't afford to have actual supplements, eat leafy greens, eat plantains, eat the yam, pigeon peas. Again, pigeon peas is a situation where we did research on pigeon peas. Pigeon peas are phenomenal. They have anti-cycling. They're high in magnesium. They're high in zinc. They're high in calcium. So yes, if you're having pigeon peas, they're phenomenal as well. So make sure you're getting the proper nutrients inside your system, and you'll find that your body is going to start to react by doing what you to rest a lot more, and you'll start getting sleepy too. The other thing is, so funny, is called the earth vibration is a frequency. If you go on YouTube and put in 7.83 hertz, 7.83 Hz, it'll come up, a bunch of information that come up, but that's what it's called, the earth zone. It actually, that's what sort of relaxes us. If you come into my office, I'm always having music like this playing in the background. People don't realize, they're like, oh, I always feel so relaxed when I come in your office. Yes, I'm playing different frequencies to get your body to naturally calm down as well. So even just by doing that at night, have that playing in the background. You don't even have to like have it loud. You can have it, low, where you don't even really hear it, but your body's gonna feel that vibration, and it'll put you into a natural sleep state as well.
Okay. Is it possible to download the frequency? You were saying there was a website?
Yes, you just go to YouTube. Just go right to YouTube, put 7.83 hertz, and it has, sometimes they'll have music, like flutes or whatever, but that frequency is actually in the background.
Okay, great. Alicia, could you share, are there any other questions that you've seen popping up throughout the talk?
I I got a question.
Hmm.
Aaron Smith is this Aaron speaking?
Yeah, this is me. Yeah, it's me.
Okay, go ahead, Aaron.
Um, I wanted to ask you about you made a lot of great points about nutrition and sleep. I wanted to ask you about mental health because I feel like a lot of people with sickle cell, I feel like having mental access to mental health. You're speaking to a
Hmm.
therapist would would help. Because even if you don't with sickle cell, because you have to live with, even the times you are feeling good, I still think it's important to speak with somebody
Mhm.
because because it's such a misunderstood disease, and a lot of people have trouble like coping with that, and so I think speaking to a therapist is important because you know uh a lot of people, especially a lot of young people, I feel like with sickle cell and even other with pre-existing conditions, have suicidal ideation or suicidal thoughts because they feel like that the healthcare system misunderstands them, and the also the treatment of them in the hospital care system. I have a therapist, and I see her every week, and that helps me with my help me talk about, my sickle cell and things that I go through and stuff like that. I don't know what I would do without my therapist. Um, so I just want to put that out there and ask you about what do you think about that?
Are you asking me about therapy? Do I think therapy is a good thing, or are you asking me different ways to address mental health?
Sort of address the mental health among, like people with sickle cell and, you know, like how, the importance of it.
Mhm. I mean, the basis is this right here. You have to have a strong mental, no, you have to have a strong team around you that's going to allow you to express yourself, allow you to cope with what's going on, but also help walk with you along the way as well. So definitely having a therapist, definitely having a caregiver that is a caregiver, as well as just simply doing the work. The thing that I'll say is when you say that the sickle cell disease is misunderstood. No, but we understand what sickle cell is, but is undertreated. That's the main thing. So the treatments are not where they should be and where we want. So the frustration comes in when you're in a crisis and you're either being looked at as a drug seeker or the treatments really are not working. So that's how you can understand that. Oh, they don't understand what I'm going through. It's understood, but again, the treatments are very, very limited. Oh, you go away? You still here? What's
No,
going
I'm still here.
Okay, all right. Because for some reason the screen just went blank on me. So the fact that you have a team around you is something that everyone should definitely model. When I say a team, a good team that's going to allow you to express yourself emotionally towards what's going on. So the frustration that happens on a daily basis, but not even the frustration. This is the one term that we don't really want to admit that we have, anxiety. The biggest underlying factor for the insomnia, for the mental health issues is the anxiety. And what is the anxiety? The fear of the next crisis. That's the biggest thing. So the fear of the next crisis is driving everything. It's driving the emotions. It's driving the way you live your life. I had a young man in last Friday. He got off of all his medications, got off Suboxone, all these things. And he was like, I finally have my life back because every 6 hours he was trained to take a medication. And for the last 3 months, he's had his life back that he's not no longer looking at a clock for every 6 hours to do something. So that anxiety is real. So the more we can actually allow ourselves to express that and also learn how to live more free, I think is also going to help the mental health. But again, having that team around you, the therapist, the strong family members and friends that are there for you is also very important as well.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, sir.
Thank you for that question, or thank you for your comments, and thank you for your question, Aaron. Um, Camille, did you address Deanne's question regarding, what do persons who are bedridden, what would be good for them?
Well, no, actually, sorry, I hadn't seen the question. But in terms of physiotherapy, Dr. Ware, would you recommend that? She had I think was referring to persons who
Stroke.
like had a stroke, you know, and as you know, that does happen sometimes in sickle cell.
So
You
that's
know, would physiotherapy, some type of physiotherapy would be
of course.
recommended?
Definitely. It's an old Chinese term that says, no moving river grows moss. So the more you're able to move our bodies, the more we're able to actually keep our bodies moving, the less likely things of this sort is going to happen, especially with AVN. And unfortunately, with stroke is a different mechanism. But the more we're able to move our bodies and actually get our nervous system to have the plasticity, it's going to actually grow new neurons to hopefully help the muscles and the function start to activate themselves. So physical therapy is phenomenal for that. And also yoga and also do visualization. We forget how powerful our mind is. You know, just like Aaron was saying that, you know, the mental health, the depression, we have the power to bring ourselves down. We also have the power to lift ourselves up. You know, as an athlete and training a lot of world-class athletes, one of the biggest things we do is focus on our minds. The more we make our minds strong and say, hey, I'm going to walk, I'm going to use this limb, you'll be surprised how just strong that is, coupled with the physical therapy and also having the proper nutrients and supplements around you as well to allow your body to heal faster.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, the mind,
I'm gonna say
positive thinking can be very helpful.
Yeah, I'm gonna say one other thing, you know, I don't know if you guys know what rugby is. You know, rugby is not popular in this hemisphere, but I think it's popular down there. You know, I have a few patients that are professional rugby players and they have sickle cell SS. We know how crazy rugby is, right? You know how brutal it is. I mean, like American football compared to rugby is like cheerleading, in my opinion. I would not play rugby; they're crazy. But how can a sickle cell SS patient have that's supposed to be bedridden and in pain all the time? They're out there playing rugby, and one, we're gonna probably get inducted in the Hall of Fame because he was playing in London for about 10 to 12 years. It's because of the fact that when I sat down with these men, they said that they realized that when they worked out, when they moved their body, they were not in pain. So the more they moved their body, the less pain they actually had. So they continue to move their body, and rugby was just one of the sports to allow them to do that, to actually do that. I'm not saying go out and start playing rugby, guys. I'm not saying that, but the more you move your body, the more resilience you can also bring about as well.
Dr. Ware, were those also taking even flow, the ones doing the rugby?
Later on, they didn't. They took even flow, but they more so took EF arthritis, which is another form of even flow, but it's for the joints because they actually end up having arthritis early in life because they play rugby. But yes, one now he's in London right now, and you know he still orders from us.
Okay, but originally they weren't on even flow. They were just exercising and found that their health had improved.
Exactly,
Okay, yeah, it's interesting.
exactly. Yep.
Okay, are there any questions on any other platform? Did we check any other platform to see if anyone had any other questions?
Well, it's only on YouTube. There are no questions on that.
Mhm.
Just had a comment earlier about, the person. One of the good things to do is to check on and know what happens when you have a crisis or know what causes a crisis. But Moret had posted a question asking Dr. Ware to share his strategies for managing avascular necrosis.
Right, the hip issue,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, it's not initially hip. It's the
Can be any
hip
joint.
shoulder, is
It
the
can, yes,
cervical
right.
spine.
We do have members who
Yeah,
have it,
yeah,
AVN in the shoulder joint. That's correct. Yeah.
Right.
exactly. Yeah, I think a lot of people assume it's just in the hip, but it's also in the shoulders, cervical spine. It can actually, I'm having almost anywhere. The jaws. I have some individuals where it's happening in their jaws as well. Again, it's back to moving the body. It's back to having the proper nutrient. Think about this. If you're malnutrient, what's going to happen? Your nutrients are going to be pulled out your muscles and also your bones, right? If you're not moving your body's going to start to seize up. So maintain a flexibility schedule, do some sort of yoga and things of that sort, and having the proper nutrients is the best thing you can do. And yes, that's one reason why we did create EF arthritis was for individuals that had avascular necrosis. It's great for back pain and arthritis, but it's also I created that for avascular necrosis. The more you can get the blood circulating around in those micro capillaries, the easier it's going to be for you to have a better blood supply best to those areas as well.
Okay, great.
Well, that's more of like preventative. Maurette, does that answer your question? I hope it did.
So it provides some information. Thanks, Dr. Ware. You mentioned a product that you had created for avian. Could you repeat, please?
Yes, it's called if you go to our website, healingblends.com, it's actually called EF arthritis.
EF
Arthritis.
arthritis. Okay, thanks for that.
You're very
So
welcome.
Yes.
is that similar to the even flow?
It's similar, but this is more so directed towards
To
the bones and joints.
the joints. Okay, great. Okay. Well, as I had said earlier, I remember when you came to Jamaica, and I was telling you about my experiences,
Mhm.
and you had said to me, "Oh, try the even flow," and I said, at this point, I'm so concerned about my eye situation because I had sickle cell retinopathy in the left eye,
Yep.
and then the surgery to correct it, the vitrectomy did not go well.
Mhm.
And then I thought to myself, oh no, I only have one eye left that, also begun to have the same retinopathy, the traction on the retina, the flashing lights and everything.
Yep.
And you said started and see what happens. And everything improved. The traction, the creation of those fibers that, attach from the proliferation of those little tiny vessels that get, blocked with the sickle cells and then they die and so on. All of that improved tremendously. And my ophthalmologist was really surprised. She said, "Oh, but your eye's improving. I'm seeing less traction." And I was having less flashing lights. And, over time, she just said, "Well, you won't need any more surgery in this eye." And I said, "I'm not doing any more surgery," but I was saying to myself, just thank God, how unfortunate that I met you after I'd had the surgery on the left eye. Not, I was thinking if I had met you like before that surgery in 2012 or so, I would not have done the eye surgery. I wouldn't, because it really completely just stopped the traction and stabilized it. So, I mean, occasionally I will see a flashing light, but nothing as before. Yeah, so since then, that was 2014. Yeah, in November you came, right? I've been taking the even flow consistently. And I find that in addition to the eye improving and, me being sort of no longer at risk of having detachment of the retina, I find I have fewer sickle cell crises. And I mean, when I trace back over the past, what would that be? 10 years now, right? Yeah. Because we're in 2024, right? The crises I've had have occurred on days that I've been extremely busy and rushed out of the house and left my bottle of even flow. Yes, I'm telling you, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
So it was like, I know, ensure that there's always a bottle in my handbag. So whenever I'm rushing anywhere, if I forget to take it before I leave the house, I'm like, oh yes, well, it's not in my handbag. So I'll ensure I don't miss. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and also too, what I found about the even flow, which has been very helpful, is that I think I've had fewer infections, colds, coughs, and upper respiratory, tract issues because I was very constantly having those.
Yeah.
So definitely the herbs and the supplements that are in even flow, I think, are also, helpful for the immune system generally.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, we've our last double-blind study was actually published in a hospital journal here in the US about 3 or 4 years ago. And
Mhm.
that was the case. We saw that it did the micro circulation, it improved the hemoglobin rate, it decreased the risk of sickle cell crisis, no hospitalizations, things of that sort. And it is phenomenal. And I'm just blessed and thankful that God, gave me the formula to actually put together, and people are having benefits with it all over the world. We're still
Mhm.
trying to get out there to as many individuals as possible. People are still, either skeptical or just, don't believe that it works as well as it is. I get calls from doctors and, different individuals
Yeah,
all the
I'm
time.
sure.
Yeah, like this is not a natural thing. It's some sort of medication in there. I'm like, no, sorry,
Mhm.
it's all natural. And I purposely have not tried to change the formula, since its inception. So thank you for continuing to take it. I know
Yeah,
we got some
I
challenges,
will.
we got some
I,
challenges,
I
to get it
absolutely.
done there. Yeah, go ahead. Love you.
Yeah, I think
Great.
the challenge is because it's, as you said, not a medication. If it was
Yeah,
a medication, then we could get it on the government's national health fund, and have it subsidized. But
yeah,
because it's a natural product, it basically they don't subsidize any natural products.
yeah.
That is,
Well,
I
I
think,
mean, yeah,
fortunate.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's
I'm
the
sorry.
challenge.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, in Uganda and also in Nigeria, Nigeria has over 12 million individuals with active sickle cell, and we are in the national guidelines for treatment for of sickle cell disease with even using even and also even for junior. So if the world's largest population of sickle cell has us in the guidelines and we're NAFDAC approved, we have all our approvals, in many states and many countries in Africa. Just hope I can do the same thing there in Jamaica as well.
Well, I think it's something we can explore, but that the I let's put it this way. Um, it's something that we can explore. But I know that there are all these various issues, that because it's natural and maybe there are not enough double-blind studies or whatever is the requirement that they usually apply for drugs, medication. But it's something I think we should
Mhm.
explore because I I mean I'm living proof that it's effective, and you've had all your other research in Africa to show that, all the persons who had been on it have had various improvements. So I mean, I strongly endorse it, the product, and I'm extremely grateful that you developed this product. And I said, I'm just sorry that I didn't meet you 2 years before, so I could have avoided the eye surgery. Because yeah, if I had started taking it in 2012 or 2011, I would like not have had to do any surgery and,
Okay.
have the challenges. All right.
Camille,
Well,
sorry to cut you. How often was your dosage of the even flow per day?
okay, well, the maintenance dose is two. So you take one in the morning and one in the evening,
Right.
right? I tend to take it like maybe 10 minutes before my meal. I find it's more effective when I take it, on an empty stomach. But you can take it with food as well. But I mean, there's no issue. You don't have any stomach upset or anything. It's fine taking it on an empty stomach. And if I'm like really tired and exhausted, I would maybe take another one at midday just to give me that extra boost to keep going, But yeah, but normally it's just two a day. So like
Okay.
the bottle has 60 tablets. So
A month
normally it
time.
will last a month, but I always say, just for those times when you might be a little tired. I mean, not everybody has my ridiculous schedule, of course, but it's to me it's good to when you order two bottles so that if you do take a bit more, you won't run out, and then of course be able to ensure that you don't stop it, because that's what I find, that you really just need to be consistent with it. But yeah,
Right.
it's
I
been
do
extreme.
take it as well, not as consistent as you, if I might add, but I do take it, and I do, in addition to, I don't have, I wouldn't say I really had issues with painful crisis. My main issue, because I'm SC, but my main issue is with acute chest issues.
Mhm.
However, outside of sickle cell, I do realize that the even flow helps me with my monthly menstrual cramps. So it does really help with that as well. If I might add that. So thank you for that as well, Dr. Ware. And we do have someone who
Yes.
asked about would you recommend chlorophyll for sicklers with HB thalassemia and how often can it be taken? And then after you answer that question, I'll open the floor to Mishka, who's had her hand up for a while. So we're getting to you, Mishka.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one reason why, again, we produce our own chlorophyll. Our chlorophyll is actual chlorophyll. Is not most chlorophyll on the market is what we call chlorophyllin, is a synthetic version, but ours is chlorophyll because it's the closest thing to our own hemoglobin, our own heme, except for the chlorophyll. It has the magnesium. Our own heme has the iron ring, so it can really definitely help a lot as well. So I do recommend chlorophyll. The regimen I give most individuals is even flow, chlorophyll, and zinc every day. Every day. Take those three things, and most of your issues are going to be taken care of. And if there's other underlying issues, yes, there's things that we can do to improve that. But that's when we work on the basis, even flow, chlorophyll, zinc.
Okay, thank you for that response. I hope it answers your question, Lynette. So over now to you, Mishka. You may go ahead and open your mic and ask your question.
Hey, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yes.
Good evening.
All right. Hi, Dr. Ware. First of all, I'd like to say, beautiful presentation.
Thank you.
And as it relates to the avascular necrosis, you mentioned about movement, doing yoga or something. But it's kind of impossible to move with AVN, especially if it's in the like the end stage. For my right hip, I did a total hip replacement in 2022. Since I did the surgery, the right hip has been, well, great, I would say. For the left hip now, it seems as if it's in its final stage or nearing the final stage. But I do find it impossible to I move, I walk and stuff around in the house. I am basically a stay-at-home mom, so I'm at home. But with the hip now, when you're on it, the more you're on it, the more it hurts, the more discomfort. And what doctors said to me when I was previously diagnosed is that you would have to stay off it because the more you're on it, it's going to deteriorate. So you should use like aid crutches or whatever. So how would you can you shed some light on that since you said that we should try to move around with it?
Well, it's two ways of looking at it. It is I call it chicken and egg. So the avascular start because you were not moving. Did it start because you were malnourished? Was there an accident? Because we quickly want to say, okay, it's because sickle cell. It's not just because sickle cell. It's other mediating factors that goes along with it. And then why do I say that? It's because the more you are able to excite the body and get the blood flowing, the more the blood's going to hit every part of the body that it can actually have, right? So, but if you're in the end stages, if it's already giving you pain, then yeah, it's gonna be difficult for you to move. What you want to do is things that are actually anti-inflammatory inside your diet as well. So if you're eating things that are causing inflammation inside your diet, say for instance, like you have, I'm not saying you have it, I'm just saying if you have soda, the excess sugar, things that create mucus, even if you're constipated, all these things are creating inflammation and can create pain somewhere inside the body. So if you remove a lot of those things out of your diet, redo your diet, have the nutrient dense food, you may find that, wow, I'm not having as much pain inside of my hip right now. Is the damage still there? Of course, but is the pain as great? No, it's not. I had several patients on the same way. I had a patient, she had in her shoulder or have it still there, is her hand of her head. When she yelped in pain and things that put her on my diet, got all the inflammatory things out of her system. 3 weeks later, did a follow-up with her. She hated my guts. I hate you. I hate you. Everything that you told me to do, nothing worked. Nothing worked. because her lifestyle was changed. Question I asked her, I said, well, right now you're scratching your back. She said, what are you talking about? I'm like, you're scratching your back. You're taking your arm and scratching your back. You couldn't do that before, could you? She was like, no, I couldn't. She was more so upset with me because I changed her diet than the fact that she hasn't had pain in 3 weeks. So it can happen that fast when you have the proper diet inside of your system. When you get the inflammatory foods out of your system, things of that sort. Would the damage still be there? Of course it is. But would the pain and inflammation irritate and bother you as much? No. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is the fact that there are things you can do slow and surely that can ensure that the pain would not be as grave as well. Am I saying that the situation is going to cure itself? I'm not, because you still will have the damage there, but you can have an anti-inflammatory diet that can allow you to have better pain management as well.
Okay, thank you for that. And my follow-up question, do you have any remedy for fibroids or to reverse fibroids for sicklers
It's
and
not just for
painful
sicklers.
period?
It's not for sicklers. If you want to have a one-on-one conversation with me or want to have a consultation with me, hit me at drcharlieware.com. You can schedule an appointment. That's another conversation. So, sorry to say it like that, but that's another complete different issue because not just for sickle cell. So,
Oh,
but
okay.
all right,
Yes, thank you.
you're very welcome.
Awesome. All right. Okay, one last question. Natalie is asking, I don't think this is possible. She's asking, would you recommend stem cell therapy as a treatment for AVN?
You can try it. I mean, stem cell treatment is one treatment that you can try. But again, stem cell treatment is not going, how can I put this? Is not going to per se grow the bone and the cartilage back. That's going to take you about 18 months to 2 years to even see some sort of relief. But in lieu of getting a total replacement of the joint, I'll say try it out. Why not?
Okay. All right. So the next,
Um,
I'm sorry,
oh,
Natalie, that was the answer to your question.
I was just curious, when you say stem cell treatment, what exactly are you referring to?
It's
Not
it's just that is a form of therapy where you're using say infant cells, you know, from a donor or from yourself. And then you're injecting them. A lot of athletes have them injected into their knee, or a lot of older ex-athletes have injected to their knee, their shoulder, and it's been shown to actually help to slowly regrow new tissue around there. It takes a while. Yeah,
okay, okay. I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
yeah. It's not cheap. It's not cheap, but it's
And
possible.
it's probably not available in Jamaica either.
It probably is. I mean, if not, you know, I'll come in there, open a clinic up because it's if you can afford to have stem cell treatment, you can afford my rates. Then just joking.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that. I seriously doubt that, that anyone is doing that out here now, but I wasn't aware that you could like directly inject it into the affected joint to see if it would respond.
Yep, yep,
Okay, so basically, if you are at the most developed or the end stage of avascular necrosis, it is really recommended that you do the hip replacement, if it is at that
yep.
late stage.
Yeah, if it's at a late stage, it's things you can do to maintain it, you know. But at the same token, like I said, you know, an anti-inflammatory diet can cure a lot of things. Especially young lady, she was asking about fibroids. That's just a telltale sign that her diet is not right. If you have fibroids, that basically it means your body's overreacting to something and your hormones are all out of whack, and that can even be what's causing her AVN. And it's not just again the sickle cell. I think we try to put everything on sickle cell when I try to be more realistic and say what created that versus okay, sickle cell disease and all these branch of issues that's going to happen. And I say sickle cell is just one thing that can happen, but the lifestyle added on to that is also a combination to it too. All right. And
Yes, I agree.
one more question because it is very late right now, and Dr. Ware has to get ready for work tomorrow and also eat. So,
Yes, thank you very much. Is there any other question, or should we just thank Dr. Ware for his wonderful presentation?
No, I think that was it. I was about to say, yeah, we're pretty much over an hour and a half now. So we've had a very good and very informative session. I'm not seeing any other questions or comments. So at this time, yeah, we can go ahead. We can go ahead and wrap up and
I have a quick question. Dr. Ware, for the consultation, is it consultation free or?
No, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to laugh about it. I'm not trying to laugh about it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Just had to
I
ask.
and I'll be honest, I typically don't even do presentations for free. I just do it for Camille because I've known her for over 10 years. So no,
Oh, thank you, Dr. Ware.
thank you. We
I
really
charge a lot for
appreciate
my
it.
presentations too. So, but no,
No,
I mean, the reason why I enjoy doing this is because of the fact that, there are a lot of misconceptions, a lot of, actually next month, I'm starting my sickle cell book, something I've been trying to put out for years and years. Because there's a lot of misconceptions about, sickle cell, what it is, what it isn't, but also even the treatment of it. So even the treatment of sickle cell disease is completely done incorrect. And we go back to basic anatomy and physiology, we'll see that, wow, yes, we're treating it incorrect. So a lot of these medications that are have been developed, through gene therapy and all this other stuff, that's just hierarchy things that is not even touching. That's not even say scratching the surface. I'm not saying it's not relevant. It's very, very relevant. We need more therapies for sickle cell disease, but if we learn how to properly treat sickle cell disease, we'll see a lot less hospitalizations, and we'll see a lot more well individuals. And then on the background of that, like I said, the reason why we start doing our own rapid testings for sickle cell disease, and hopefully I can get the testing down there for all newborn screenings down there as well, is because of the fact that once we are able to control and see where the populations are, we're able to sort of, stop it. But the main thing I want you guys to understand, the treatment of sickle cell disease should not be something that's scary. It should not be something that's done out of fear or anxiety. It's this theory that was actually coined in the 80s is about the preparing for the helplessness, or is like inducing helplessness in individuals. And I feel like a lot of conversations with sickle cell physicians do to the patients is prepare them to be helpless versus saying, okay, how can we now empower you to be the best that you can be? How can we now make you more resilient versus saying, okay, your life is going to be like this is all negative. How can we now empower you guys? So that's one reason why, like all this month on a weekly basis, I've been doing sickle cell roundtables, what I call my lunch and learns. Almost every month, I'm doing something about sickle cell disease, and it's about empowerment. Give you as much information as you can. This month I'm going over lab work, how to interpret your actual lab work, how to be the best that you can be, and understanding who you are first and foremost before you allow someone to tell you who you are. I had someone today, I don't know if I've said this, but their hemoglobin was 5.9. I'm like, this is crazy because if you've gone to the hospital, you're going to a regular PCP, they would have rushed you to the hospital and gave you a blood transfusion. But historically, you see this person's hemoglobin rate, it was 5.4 between 6.1 is their baseline. So they're functioning, playing soccer even with a 5.9 hemoglobin rate. But they came to me because they want to increase that, right? So long story short, I want to continue to teach individuals how to be resilient. How did I fight mixed martial arts? Never lose a fight in five professional fights. Playing professional baseball, traveling the world, and been crisis free for a long time and now as well. So I want to make sure that people are living like I'm living, and enjoying and thriving in life. And I'm not an anomaly. I'm not someone that's a one off. It's how we're looking at this disease. And if you follow the principles, you'll be able to do it. So check us out at on my website, drcharlieware.com. Hit me at IG Dr. Ware, Dr. Charlie Ware as well. YouTube Healing Global. Check out our page Healing Global. And again, if you can find someone to help me do nutrition down there in Jamaica, we can get the product down there. And I guarantee you can. I'll put my product up against any medication right now, and I guarantee you we will outperform them because it's designed for the body, not to work against it, but with the body to make you more resilient. So God bless.
Okay, thank you so
and
much,
change.
Dr. Ware. Thanks so much. We really appreciated this presentation. Extremely useful, a lot of food for thought. And I think that many of us are guilty of, or many of us are in fact guilty,
You cut off.
yes, of not eating adequately and of course not getting enough sleep and, you know, having all of these issues with stress. So many of the things that you actually touched upon, you know, are real life issues that I think many of us really need to be honest with ourselves. Well, how can we, you know, address and change our lifestyle? So I just want to say thanks again. We really appreciate it. And for those who are interested, this is being recorded, so you will be able to have a playback and hear and see, you know, so that you can use this to help guide you as you go forward in your daily life. So thanks for, you know, giving us this time. We really appreciate it because we know you're 1 hour ahead. So please, we do appreciate it and enjoy the rest of your evening. And of course, we'll be in touch about the other issues to even flow.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you, Dr. Ware.
sounds.
In addition to what Camille said, yes,
You're
this will be
welcome. God bless
recorded
everyone.
and saved to our YouTube channel, so you can always go back there and watch the replay. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thanks again. Thanks a million, Dr. Ware. Have a great night.
All right. Take care, everyone. Good night.